Hey there, I'm Corbin, leather specialist here at Sailrite, and today I just wanted to make a quick tips and tricks video to go over a question that I've gotten a lot, and it involves the gusset on tote bags. Something that looks kind of like this. And the question that I've gotten is, how do you change the size of this gusset if you want a smaller or a larger bag? So today I'm going to try to show you a formula to get whatever size gusset you need for your tote bags. And I thought it'd be helpful to go over a comment that we got on our video for this simple tote bag to kind of act as the blueprint for today's video. The commenter said, I have a question about the bottom cutouts, which is this section right here. How do you come up with 4 by 2.5 inches? Can it be 4 by 2 or 4 by 4 or 2 by 4.5? And how does that affect stitching? So I'm going to go over those things and give you some thoughts. So to illustrate today, I'm just going to be using paper instead of using leather, but just pretend that this is a small version of our tote bag. This is the side seams right here. And so let's draw the cutout. And before I do anything, I always start off with a center line. So I'm going to find that real quick and base everything off of the center line. And so the commenter asked, why can't you do a 4 by 2 square? Why did we do 4 by 2.5? So let's just start off doing the 4 by 2 like he said. And instead of doing it the 4 inches all at once, I like to think of it in terms of squares. So I'm going to do a 2 by 2 square on each side. All right, so now we've got 2 by 2 squares, which means the whole thing is 2 by 4. So let's lose this area right here and see if the gusset will work or not. I'm going to pretend like we are sewing this side seam together. And to do that, I'm just going to use some basting tape.
Hey, Corbin.
Yeah. All right, I'm back. All right, so let's see how things line up with those 2 by 2 squares. And I went ahead and marked it. That's overhang that you don't want to see. And those corners aren't matching up to a point either. So that's no good. So let's account for some seam allowance and try this again. Okay, so now I've got 2 by 2 squares on either side of the center line, just like I did the last time. And here's the most important part of the video. So our simulated seam using this basting tape was about 1/4 inch. So we need to account for 1/4 inch of seam allowance. So all we've got to do is add that to the top part right here. So let's go ahead and do that. And so that makes the measurements 2 1/4 here and the same 4 inches along the top. So let's see if that works any better for us. All right, now I've got everything set up here. Let's see how it looks. So now as I push the lines together, they sit perfectly flush and the corners both meet at a point. So that's what we want. That's gonna make it look better and make sewing it a lot easier. So now I'm gonna repeat that same process, but change the size this time, just to prove that it still works. So instead of our 2 inches, I'll size it down to just 1.5 inches. All right, so 1.5 inches on each side means a total of 3 inches for the total length of our gusset. And right now it's just 1.5 inches, but you know what we've got to do? Add that extra 1/4 inch for our seam allowance. Get that folded over and we'll see if it worked this time. So even with the smaller shape, looks perfect to me. Flush and nice tight corners. So to sum things up, let's just say instead of a 4-inch gusset, you want a 6-inch gusset. So what I would recommend is taking that 6 inches you want and dividing that over the center line, which would make 3 by 3 squares. So that's what you see here in the white. And then you need to make sure to account for the seam allowance, which in my case I use 1/4 inch. You might want to use a 1/2 inch. And that's what you see here with the stripes. So 1/4 inch plus your 3 for a total of 3 1/4, and then your same 6 across. And once you cut that out, you should have a perfect gusset on your bag. And now you know an easy formula to calculate whatever size box corner you need on your tote bags. Hope you learned something. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.